Howdy, everybody. I said howdy. God dang it. Tried not to.
Happy
But
New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year. Yeah, that's the other one. Happy birthday, Happy New Year, howdy. We got all of our H's covered. But welcome to a somber, built
Mm,
from day one post game show. Um, Pretty bad night. Pretty unenjoyable basketball. On the flip side, as a basketball fan, um, you know, although we had crazy ref issues, and obviously that's what the thumbnail is, and we predicted this from the get go. We knew right away. We could have guessed how this game would have started, and it did that times like 100. Embiid had 10 free throws like in 10 minutes, basically. Um, but beyond that, I mean, we did see James Harden play pretty well. I mean, pretty great tonight. And then Joel Embiid played great. Maxey played great. And the Timberwolves played terrible. Terrible. And just right off the bat, to get it out of the way, we're going to give ourselves very few excuses, but we have to say them because for the rest of the show, it's not going to be good. Sure, we're on the end of a back-to-back. It's at home, though, but it is a back-to-back against Memphis, who's a good team. Memphis didn't play great last night, though, but, it's still a back-to-back. We're playing against the 76ers, who now are a very legitimate contender. And we might still have just a little bit of rust from the All-Star break. But that's it. That's the end of the excuses, and realistically, there is no other excuses. The refs were bad tonight, but the Timberwolves were worse. And I see Grayson's the first one in chat. Grayson was calling me out earlier before the game. He was hoping for a 30-point blowout, and we got a 30-point blowout.
Who's
So
in front of
you win,
yours?
Grayson. But yeah, how are you feeling after this game?
I'm doing okay, man. Kind of miserable. Was really, really amped up for this game, more so than most games because of just I wouldn't say beef, but just like the small amount of history between Cat and Embiid. Embiid is so much better than Cat in so many ways, but Cat has a strength that he doesn't take advantage of on a nightly basis, and it's
Every
just
night.
pretty unfortunate to see. Um, I really liked the energy from Beverly and D'Lo and Vando actually in the beginning of the game, kind of withstanding all of the hoopla around the refs and what we imagined as unfair calls. And we have gotten used to it, but it's still kind of bullshit. I don't understand the amount of calls that go against us, but then, I wouldn't say conversely we don't get the calls, but we don't play with that same kind of mentality of like playing into the bodies of and drawing contact. We are trying to find the contact, right? We're trying to like force it, and it doesn't really look good. Conversely, we are just shooting ourselves in the foot with how we're playing. We have no execution, we have no flow, and it's like hero ball for the most part. And so watching this game was just, kind of as a counterpoint to last night. We had someone play hero ball and we found it and we ran its rhythm. And apparently in post game we like to play Memphis because we match up well against them. And yeah, because they don't have Embiid. They don't have Joel. They don't have James Harden. But looking like the way that we did tonight just really kind of deflated all of the air in my sails, man. I feel pretty down right now.
I do too. I think last night we got really high, not literally, but we got really high on the team because we had a good night against Memphis, who's a scrappy team that it likes to beat us. And apparently there must be a lot of shit talking that goes on between the teams because everybody was yapping after the game talking about how it was like so like Ant was like, I don't know, Beverly went to Twitter and was like, oh yeah, you're not dancing tonight, basically. It's like, holy cow, we must really have some beef with them. But then
Dude,
John
this game when
Morant
they
goes
win,
out and
it's so
he
enough.
compliments us all, so it's like, I don't know, it's just really confusing. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, the sale.
We've never been here before, man. We've never won a game before, right?
Yeah, Yeah.
So, like,
I,
act like we haven't been there before. Try something different. Be a little bit more mature, because it's gonna, karma's gonna come get you. So,
and I
yeah, I should have stayed at work. Honestly, I took an Uber home. I got home early just in time for this game. Man, I'm feeling it inside. Like, I wish this output didn't happen. I wish it was a closer game. The first 4 or 5 possessions were fun. Like, even though they were annoying as hell,
mm-hmm,
they were fun to see us like fight.
mm-hmm.
And then it was just, yeah, downhill from there. I have so little to say about this game positively. Looking forward to another game as soon as possible, but I have question marks galore for every player involved in our team right now.
Legitimately, I mean, every player,
JBX.
every player. Yeah, true, true. No, the last thing I'll say in my summary of the game, like you said, the first few possessions, maybe the first 6 8 minutes of the first quarter or something, it looked like, I mean, we feel like we're down by a lot, but we're not really down by a lot. We kept it within 10 for a lot of it. And then we even fought back a little in the second quarter to bring it to a 3-point game, I think. And then we immediately after that let it go to 16 at half. And
Mm-hmm.
after that, it was hero ball for the rest of the game, not just from Cat, not just from D'Lo, not just from Ant. Literally every player on the team was just like, this is an AAU game. I am going to just try to drive and flail at the basket and take random threes that make no sense in the offense. I'm going to drive into 3 paint defenders. No sense. There was just no common sense or basketball IQ being played tonight from almost anyone. Almost anyone. Other than maybe Jake Layman. But
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
not to kind of spoil our tier list, but I felt like D'Lo played his ass off until it didn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought Jaden came to a game where it was out of reach, and he said, all right, time to try something different. And
Yeah.
it was okay to watch.
Mm-hmm.
No one else has anything really positive out there. But, like, it's a fundamental question about this team, man. Like, we look so different game to game.
Mm-hmm.
We look ready. We look prepared. We have a 3-1 start. We look like a completely different team from when we started the season. We have Ant looking like a shell of a player, a shell of a second rounder at the moment, man. Yeah. It looks bad out there with Ant.
It does.
Beverly, like, the energy was great, but he got in foul trouble, and then we lose our identity. We lose our purpose. We have no, like, reaction defensively, and then we struggle to close out on threes, and they had 10 more threes this game than we did. That's the difference in this game. That's 30 points.
Yeah.
We get cocky in post-game interviews. We have some really dumb comments that really pisses me off when you have a bad game and you say, the things that you do. And
tonight especially, I have not looked at any post-game stuff. I have been avoiding Twitter since. I don't think I could handle it mentally right now to see a quote, although thank you, Headshot, for
thanks, Headshot.
shoving it in my face. We're not in a position like other teams where you're at the top, where you're top 3 seed and can afford to lose some games and get your stuff right. We got to get the job done. Coach is right.
Yeah, sure. The coach is right. I question Finch a lot tonight. I question a lot of what was happening. Nowhere did I see fight from our coach. Nowhere did I see attack or, like, get riled up or like, ream into our players. I didn't see any of that. Yesterday, I saw a very, cerebral Finch on the sidelines.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just writing a storyline of who's going to take over this game. Ooh, a little splash of Beasley. Okay, great. We'll keep Beasley going. And then Beasley opens up D'Lo. Great. Mm-hmm. We'll just ride D'Lo for a victory.
Yeah.
Like, there was no flow. It was just like a hero ball moment. And he's finding the game within the game. He's finding who's hot. And he even commented on it post-game. Like, sometimes there's who's playing well. He just runs with them. The game plan is who's playing well. Like, we're such a young team that we need structure. We need a backbone to build off of. We don't have a James Harden and Embiid to, like, run with. We have an inconsistent Cat. We have a very, very inconsistent D'Lo, and we have an Anthony Edwards, which I'm going to belabor, hopefully for a half an hour long stream only, who's not even existent. He is not the player we signed up for, man.
Yeah. It's It's bad times right now. I know we were just on a high yesterday, but we both said this at the end of the last stream last night about how important this game was. Um, and we even kind of jokingly said this to each other. It was like, we can win this game, and I'm okay with losing a couple after this because this is just an
Yeah,
important
totally.
game.
This was important.
This
Yeah,
this game is worth 5 losses in my mind because
totally.
like you can't. There's so many elements to this, but like the thing that bothers me so much is being a Minnesota Timberwolves fan for as long as I have, stupidly, I, you know, you see the fans, you see there's diehard fans out there for sure. Obviously, we're doing post game shows after games like this, but you know, Target Center was packed tonight. There was a lot of people there ready for a good game,
Yeah,
and there was even some people next to us that said they drove 5 hours to get to this game, and I'm like,
imagine.
imagine that relationship between the fan and the team at that moment. For tonight's game, there was really nothing redeemable. They didn't even get Arby's. So, it's like
No Arby's. Oh no.
everything was bad about this, and the reputation between D'Lo is always talking about like, oh, we need the fans to be loud. We need like D'Lo. This is why the fans don't get loud because they need to see a product consistently, and we have not seen a product consistent other than a mediocre team 500-ish this year, which as we said, that's okay, but that's a building block, and it's just going to take time. I know the crowd gets the players hyped up, but it's hard to cheer when games like this happen frequently. So I don't know. I just think of how many fans tonight were like, yeah, I'm not coming to a Timberwolves game again. That was not worth it.
I mean, that's what the product was out there. They took the fans out of the game the first 5 minutes. They took literally every single person out of that game.
Yeah.
Not enjoyable. Not basketball. It didn't feel like a game. It felt like just like refs on demand.
It did.
And then we have to compensate. We have to overcompensate. We have to play within a system we don't have. We have to play tougher and stronger and more mentally tough. And we're led by Cat, who is not.
He's just not.
Yeah. But I have a lot of negative things to say. I will try to hold back.
Let's do the tier list though.
Let's just run through it. Yeah. Like
oops. Let me pull it up here. Sorry. Bear with me, please. Okay. Here for 2. Okay. All right. JBX, sorry, I just cut off your comment, but it said, but they're the fans that aren't likely to attend regular anyways. They jumped on the bandwagon and jump off. I mean, you're somewhat true, but like,
they're 5 hours away.
They are 5. Still, it's important. Like, I mean, they're 5 hours away. They're definitely somewhat caring, but I do think it's just the perception. I mean, you're gonna see people are gonna see this and be like, oh, the Timberwolves lost by 30 against a good team. Yep, that makes sense, and then move on with their day because this is what we've been for 20 years. So. It's just and not that it matters what anybody on the internet says, but it's like people are just gonna say, oh, yep, typical Timberwolves. Figured. I knew everybody was so stupid for believing in them, but whatever, they can win tonight. So
before we get into the tier list, a quick shout out to you guys. You can hear it in my voice and my enthusiasm. I'm low right now, but I'm just a big fan of what we've been able to build over the course of the season. And nothing more special than the big boy with the over unders.
Yes.
JBX with the tier lists. It's really nice to have that support and also just that camaraderie and just the Discord chat in general. It saves me from just like exploding on Twitter and socially. The over under was set to 4 different lines, 3.5 fouls for Cat, and he got 3. And I, with triple exclamation point, I don't know how that happened. 20.5 points for D'Lo, and he went over barely with 21. Big boy, I have no idea how you do it, man. The Harden turnovers was set at 4.5, and he went under with 2. That should have been 10. He traveled every possession. It's okay. And then Sixers with I think they're like the league worst offensive rebounding team because they don't have anyone to really rebound. They had a line set for 9.5 offensive rebounds, and they had 6, so they went under. I hit the over on every single thing, so I went 1 for 4. I got my ass kicked. So
I don't remember what I did, so whatever. But
all right.
Anyways, let's fly through the bench players. How about this? No, you want to do the same thing we did yesterday
Yeah,
for the bench players? I'll just quickly say my grade, and then you can say the Discord's grade.
sure. Let's do it.
Okay. Um, do you want to read the stats to me?
I will do that. Yes.
Sorry, I know I'm having you do a million. I can read them too. That's the easiest way
Nah,
for me.
dude. No. And I'm gonna skip a lot of them. Although I'll talk briefly about one bench player when we talk about the starters. But anyways,
You can name them all
let's.
because I can just quickly do it. I don't have to even make a comment on everybody.
All right. Nas Reed, 15 minutes, 7 points. It doesn't matter what else. What do you got?
D.
There it is. No, wish we had a different big. Jordan McLaughlin, 18 and a half minutes, 3 points. Didn't even see him out there. What's your grade?
I give him a C. Actually, I didn't think he was that bad. I thought he had like one of the only plays where I felt like we had any energy. So I
You
guess
made
I
it 3. That was great.
Yeah.
Jalen Noel, 16 minutes too little. 5 points, 2 for 5 from the field, a minus 21. What's your grade?
Probably a D.
Ooh.
Maybe a C. I mean, I liked his energy. I did like his energy out there. But I don't know. I guess
my comment, my one little statement is, he hasn't been playing, and now he's played, and he got his first 2 shots in, and then, then whatever, it doesn't matter. But like,
true.
I don't know, man.
We could give him a C tonight. I think that's fair for him.
Yeah, I think so too. Torian Prince, 23 minutes, 8 points, 4 fouls, 3 assists, 2 rebounds, 2 for 5 from 3. Not bad. What is your grade?
Probably a C. I mean, this is probably what I expect out of Torian, maybe.
This is what I want from Torian. I don't really care about anything else.
Yeah.
Glad he was there to make a couple shots and not stink the bed. Stink the bed. That's what I'll go with. And then Jaden McDaniels with 23 minutes, 10 points. Only 3 fouls, but probably when the game was out of reach, they just stopped calling fouls altogether.
He had all 3 of those fouls in the first 6 minutes.
Yeah. So, like, that's... We could talk about this right now. Like, fuck the refs. Like, seriously, they just killed all productivity from our team.
The only thing I'll say in regards to the ref, well, not the only thing, but the thing I'll say right now in regards to the refs is at the game, it's really difficult to determine exactly if it was a foul or not. I mean, there's a lot. It's obvious that these calls are not like super blatant like fouls.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I can't tell if it's like a touch foul because the angles that they had tonight were like bad. I know it's a lot easier to see on TV and like they have commentary, more replays and stuff like that. To me, it felt like it was not good, but it also didn't feel like the worst. Is that accurate?
Sure. The only one against McDaniels that was pretty obvious was the one where he turned around and that other guy just walked into him.
That was weird.
And that was a proper foul. I didn't think the other ones were. I think the other one was actually just like a cop out to not call Cat on a foul. But
yes, I totally know what you're talking about. That exact moment, I was like, "Whoa, how did this not go on Cat?"
Yeah, but 5 for 11 from the field. He had a lot of plays called for him, like to go and do a thing, go dance. What's your grade for him?
I actually, so on our train ride home, I said a D, but Maddie convinced me to a C. So nice. We're gonna give him a C, and I think that's fair. I mean, he played, like you said earlier in the show, like he was the only one that once we got to like the fourth quarter, he was like trying to turn up and like make some buckets, and he did. But
man, I feel so bad for Maddie to turn up for this game, and then this is what she got.
I know. I feel bad because I went last night by myself. She didn't want to go last night, but then today she's like, you know what? I think I kind of want to go, and I was like, I was at the game, and I was like, I'm sorry, you went to the worst game possible.
Yeah.
But
well, I hope you guys like had a good time together, but like the game probably sucked ass. So, all right, cool. I actually kind of like this format. Let's just keep going. In a game like this, I don't really have much to say that you are not already saying. So Vando, a couple awesome plays. I'll just say this much: a couple nice, aggressive, like crowd roaring plays.
Yeah.
But 1 for 5 from the field. Looked a little clueless on there on offense. 8 rebounds, 3 of them offensive, 2 points. You have a grade?
Yeah, so my grade is probably a D. You know, you're right, he did have some of those really exciting plays, trying to get that energy going. You know, at times from my crazy faraway seats, at times I thought it was Pat Bev because of the energy that it was bringing from the crowd and just like the overall speed and like aggression to the moves defensively. But Yeah, no, I just think and this is, I guess, maybe more on Finch, maybe Towns even too, but Towns is doing the same thing. He is giving Vanderbilt the ball in just bad spots where Vanderbilt is like, okay, I guess I'm the one that needs to shoot now. And like we had multiple possessions in a row where it's like, okay, why is Vanderbilt being our main option scoring right now? This makes no sense.
Yeah, I feel like I even said that on our Discord. Just
Did you?
like, what's happening here? We have $70 million in our roster dedicated to just shoot thries, and here's Vando shooting a three,
Yep.
getting paid 5.
So
So
bad.
I don't know. It's bizarre. Real quick, for the most part, the stream/Discord agrees with you.
Okay.
Couple D's for some starters coming up here, but C's across the board. Naz Reid even got a C. So, well, I didn't even grade Naz Reid. That's how great I am.
All right. Well, Vanderbilt, did I even grade him yet?
You said D, but maybe C. I don't really care.
Okay.
Sorry, man. This is a forced pod, I feel.
Yeah, probably. But we said we were gonna do a show, and we're doing a show.
Man. I was, dude. Cam, man. I was so pumped for this game.
I know, I was too.
I was thinking about all the ways we were going to dismantle the Sixers. Like, yeah, it's a back-to-back, but we can just shut them up at the fucking jump. And I'm believing too much in a team that's obviously letting me down. A part of it is also like we got to the playoffs. We're here in the playoffs, and we're not trying anymore now. Like, I don't know. Like, there's this ounce of like we're here, and let's just like not worry about it anymore. But
I think the other quick interjection that I'll say is it feels to me, and maybe this is totally wrong, but it feels like we just don't care about the 6th seed because we just don't think we can do it. So we're like, whatever, we're going to be somewhere in the 7 to 10, so we're going to be in a play-in game, so what does it matter if we're 7 or 10? Which obviously there's a difference, but
yeah,
it does feel like that. And to some extent, I guess you're right, but like we can win. But I mean, it just feels like we're kind of like, you know what, we're going to try harder when we're in the playoffs, and that's a terrible mindset to have.
Yeah, I think so. I want to save Gila for later, but let's go to Patrick Beverley, who was kind of like that pulse for the first 5 minutes to like get us through this game. Is Beverley going to be that person for us? Unlike last night where he was a Steph Curry clone, in 19 minutes he went 0 for 3. That's 0 for 3 from 3. 6 rebounds, 0 assists, 5 fouls, 4 turnovers. Patrick Beverley's grade. Are you ready? In 3, 2, 1. D. I almost want to say Wancho, because while I really I accept and I full on support his ability to draw charges and get into that space. We need you more than Cat out there at times, man. And I don't think I want to see 3 fouls from you ever, and 3 fouls in the first 4 minutes ever. And I love that you're trying to get into the game and try to find get that that play to get us motivated and juiced. But we don't need that. We need to be already juiced. It's nice to have that on as a backup plan. And you took us out of the game. Like when you got subbed out, we had no game plan. I feel like the moment D'Lo threw this under the fucking leg pass, we lost the game. But then when Patrick Beverley got his 3rd foul, we actually lost the game.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't play defensively. We couldn't play aggressively. We couldn't press onto anyone. And it's James Harden and Embiid. Like, right? Like those 2 players are going to just drain you.
Yeah. This is just a night where you need a Pat Bev in the game.
Yeah.
And we were excited for a Pat Bev coming into tonight's game after yesterday's, because we're like, yeah, we want that tomorrow, and we didn't get it. Partially due to foul trouble, partially due to effort, I feel like. So
JBX with maybe the only comments in the chat right now, and the only ones that really mattered anyways. So all you silent lovers of Built from Day One, we appreciate you, but JBX is the truth sayer tonight. Big issue was that, as usual, it wasn't going both ways, just consistency. And then he doesn't know, he just got beat, that's it. So maybe just like not really care about this night now, and just like knocking off Memphis was a big win. And then we came back from a 15-point deficit. We
Mhm.
were down 17. Could we fight back? And it blew up in our face, right? So, and something so strange as we put Cat on Harden. What was this? Like this reminded me of the
So
playoffs
bad.
when
So
we got our butt handed to us when we had Cat and Jimmy and Capella and Harden. And it was just the same plays over and over and over again. And we just never refused to do a different thing. We had
Mhm.
JL sitting right there and we never did anything about it. It was so dumb.
Yeah. JBX, I appreciate the insight and I appreciate the talking me off the ledge, I guess you could say. But um, you're right. I think this is what we need to do, and I think this is what the team needs to do. They just need to chalk it up as a loss. I think it's just unbelievably acceptable to lose by 30 points in a game like this that was hyped up by both sides, both teams. You just can't lose by 30. If this was closer, even like 20, that would be better. But you just their bench comes in, just goes crazy, and I guess you could even say, yeah, their bench was even crazy. I mean, they had like Isaiah Joe or whatever his name is come in and he's like draining threes. And I guess it was just their night, but on the flip side, it was just absolutely not our night at all, regardless of who we were playing. We played so bad that even if they didn't play good, they likely would have still won because we just played so bad. So for me, it's more of like, yeah, sure, we just lost this game, we can chalk it up, look forward to Cleveland, I guess, and look forward to Golden State. But yeah, I don't know. It's just we've seen this, and as we get closer to the playoffs, which we will be in we'll at least be in the play-in. I mean, this was a play-in game, and we lost by 30.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what makes me nervous.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. This is just one game against a team that was obviously very hyped up with their new player, and Harden is a top player. So, yeah.
I'm so glad that I didn't go to this meetup. I used to run a basketball meetup, and it's starting up again, and I'm afraid of it all over again. But there was a 10-person meetup tonight for this game,
Oh God.
and there's a couple Timberwolves fans in that group apparently that went. I almost went. I'm so glad I didn't. This would have been so depressing to be amongst other people being like, this is the team I support and have supported. And, we have some angry, aggressive defenders on our team that like assert themselves for moments and spurts, but we're a bad defensive team. I don't know what the metrics have been saying, but we're just bad. I think we allow the most open threes in the league. I think we foul the most, and we get the opposition to the free throw line the most out of any team in the league. I don't pay attention that closely or acutely, but like it just feels that way. And then yet we also don't have much of a bench that has any defensive like acuteness, and it's all relying on like 40 minutes a night from our starters because I think for the most part that's where all of our production comes from.
Yeah. Yeah. Gerald says we're still 15th. Yeah. But it's been sliding. Yeah, it definitely has been sliding. 76ers
And
are
what was
15th.
that like, man? We got so into ourselves. We got so full of ourselves, being like the top offense in the league for the month of January. Like,
I will say I just have never, I don't remember if I was saying this the last time or just thinking it out loud to myself at some point. But like our offense, sure, it's good, and like we have, yeah, I think I was saying this last night. Like we have like players that go out there and can make buckets. Tonight nobody did, but like we have that ability. And I just don't think that it's actually like an offensive flow stance. It's not like, oh, our offense is
not
so
at
high
all.
powered that like nobody can beat us. Like no, like it's more of like we have scorers on our team that can score in bunches, but nothing's going to work unless we have defense. And I think you're right. I think our defense is super weak. Even though last night we were talking about how exciting, and I unfortunately hyped us both up by talking about Ant's defense once we get in the play-in or the playoffs, and like Pat Bev and even Torian Prince. Yeah, no, we're done. I'm sorry, basketball gods, that I got excited for the Timberwolves for one time in my life.
We'll never get excited again.
Yeah, I won't do it again. I promise.
Yeah, you and I both, I think, kind of fall into the moment. Like I get
Mhm.
really hype and amped for games when I see things go our way and see plays like a D'Lo snap past a Cat for three. Like we've seen it once or twice all season, and we don't get the constant like pressure that we need from our offense to produce. Like it's just luck.
Yeah.
When Beverly pops off, that's luck. When Beasley goes for 19 points, that's absolutely lucky. And which D'Lo do we see? It's a roll of the dice, man. We don't know what D'Lo we see. The consistent factor is our next player on the tier list. Let's get back to business here.
Yes.
33 minutes. This is not the player of the night for sure. Not the player of the night. 33 minutes, 8 for 19 from the field, 2 for 6 from 3. He went to the line 7 times. He had 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 fouls, which I think we could talk about that a little bit, which is good for you, Kat. 25 points. Team high, minus 32.
32
for 32. Cat's grade. Are you ready, Cameron? PT.
I am ready, and it is a D.
Yeah. Place him where it's hot.
It was,
or where it's not.
I mean, we're seeing a regression in the Cat that we started to like before the All-Star break. Cat was playing better. I'm sure the viewers appreciated us not talking as much bad things about Cat that we had been saying. But last game, we saw major indicators of, Carl Magic Johnson Towns is back. And tonight, we were down 25. What does he do? A behind the back pass to somebody for a 3. And, sure, it was like, I think they made the shot. But, that's beyond the point. What are we doing? You are the player that needs to get the team together, which is we're far beyond that point. No, I don't believe for a second. I'm not in the locker room. Nobody's in the locker room with the players other than the coach. But, I don't believe for a second that the players look to Karl Anthony Towns for leadership. Nobody does. Everybody knows that he is not genuine. Everybody knows that he is in it for the looks, the glory, not for team, not for anything like that. Maybe he's a good friend. I don't know. But it's not for basket. They're not like, please, Towns, lead us. Like, that is not happening on the bench. They're doing that for Pat Bev. They're doing that for maybe only Pat Bev, honestly. Maybe Finch. Maybe not. I don't know. They seem to all talk about Finch in their post games and how much they like him. But is it, they've said that about Ryan Saunders. Cat has said that about every coach. Cat has said that about every coach. He sticks up for every coach we have. Tibbs, Ryan, Flip, anyone, and realistically, all of them have had flaws. Chris Finch is early on, so it's like still kind of tricky, but like we're into a season now. We're a full season of Finch. So, Towns just says the same thing all the time, same results all the time. And, I don't know. We're seeing Towns come back.
Yeah, I don't trust this team, like, long-term. This year, for the rest of the year, I don't trust this team. I'm going to find every win against a competent opponent to be absolute luck. Like, I'm going to say it's a fluke. I'm going to say we got lucky with shots. We hit a stride at the right time. We can't predict that kind of stuff. We can't base our game plan off of that kind of stuff. And Cat, is kind of victim to that too, where he falls into these categories of like, I'll take my moment, I'll take my time to get involved. I'll pass to Vando, who's getting double teamed. I'll pass to Jaden, who's double teamed, and luckily, Jaden makes the lay-in or something like that. But he still makes those plays. Superstars got to make superstar plays. What was that? Straight voltage Cat. I saw so much of what I don't want to see in the game from you tonight. The quick release threes is not the 3 that I want to see. It's the 3 in rhythm, the 3 in the flow of offense is what I want to see. I feel like they could have driven to the paint however they wanted to. Maxey was free reign to the paint whenever he wanted to. Embiid tossed you aside. You couldn't post up Harden. It was very hard to watch.
Yeah.
At the same time, end of the back-to-back, he's tired, but so is freaking everyone else in the league. Yeah. So no excuses.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm so sick of it, and I can't handle watching Towns do this. We built up this narrative. I mean, not that we built up a narrative, but like we were talking about this for a long time to begin the season.
And then he shut us up.
And yeah, he did shut us up for a while. But please continue to shut us up. I
Yeah.
don't want to go back the other way when we have 20 games left in the season where we absolutely need to fight for that 6th seed. Um,
Mm.
so I don't know. Anyways, I think it's a
JBX says,
D minus. Go ahead.
yeah, JBX says part of that is that our players don't move when Cat gets the ball. You know, it's so true.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of it. And like, is Cat the one who's supposed to bark out orders? Is Beverly supposed to be moving and switching and yelling out and barking out orders? I mean, I feel like that's Finch, and that's the offensive flow. That's our offensive identity that has not been established all season long, even though we have the best offense in the league in January, apparently.
Yeah.
I it's not all on Cat, but it feels like someone has to rev the engine, start a different fuse, a different type of voltage, a different type of energy. And it's just like the lights are off in our heads, man. We are just playing dumb out there. We are playing so freaking dumb out there.
Yeah, and I think
He's
that
double teamed, he's triple teamed, and our players aren't moving to open space. And then JBX also says only ones that were close were Jaden and Vando.
Yeah,
just sitting under the ring.
And that's why we keep getting those terrible passes from Towns that are two doubled Vando, doubled Jaden. And that voltage that we need is Ant. We need Ant to be a player that is not 20 anymore. We need a player that is experienced and capable of shot making or driving, at least one of the two. And tonight we barely saw either. And I suppose we should just transition right into Ant. And Ant had 15 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds. He was 5 of 13 shooting, 1 of 6 from 3. Countless step backs tonight, both 2s and 3s. Had 2 turnovers, 3 personal fouls. Did have a block, cool block, and a steal. My grade for him tonight, I guess I'm just jumping the gun, but my grade for Ant tonight, he barely saved himself from Wancho tonight.
Yeah, he's barely. A D. He's a D.
Yeah.
He had that like end of the third quarter spurt where he found himself for 5 seconds, and that saved himself. I don't know, man. I have nothing good to say about what I'm seeing from him right now, and I get choked up, man. It's not just the dinner I had tonight. It's just I'm not feeling good about what's happening here, and I don't know why it's been like not disclosed to the audience that's like worried about Ant. And did he just lose his shot, or is he holding back injuries and like not cool, whatever is happening out there? Just like how John Morant was playing last night, hurt, like not cool.
Yeah, I as we were kind of talking about the other day, I don't think he's injured. I think that's a good excuse to have for being bad. But I don't think he's injured. I think he looks fine out there. Obviously, looks can be deceiving, but at the same time, I don't think he has an issue. But I think what we're seeing is just a very, very inexperienced player that is way behind where we expected them to be. And sure, maybe we had too high of expectations, but that it showed his potential is shown multiple times throughout this season and last season that he can be an all-star level player. And I think JJ Creates was saying this in our Discord tonight. He went from being like potential like top player in the league to will he ever be an all-star? And it's like honestly right now I couldn't tell you because he's had such a bad stretch of games. Sure, he had that one good game a week or two ago, but like all-star players don't have a good game every 2 weeks. They have great games every night. Even Towns, Towns produces every night, whether it's bad production or whatever, he still is producing and getting points for the team. And if Ant was doing that right now too and getting 20 plus points, like this is closer to a game, even if it's a bad game. And I guess he was kind of close. I keep thinking of him as only because he had like 4 or 5 points for most of the game until that fourth quarter little spurt. But I don't know. I'm worried too. And basketball is a game of runs, and those runs can be within the game, throughout weeks, throughout months. And I guess the only thing that I can hope for is that we are all going to start running together when we get to the play-in game. But again, that is a terrible mindset to have, and that is not the mindset the players can have, nor should the fans have that mindset.
Yeah. On to D'Lo. 28 minutes, 21 points. A couple of free throws here and there, a couple and ones, which were pretty hot to be honest. A couple turnovers, bad turnovers, but we don't really need to talk about them at all. I have a grade ready for him. How about you?
I think I'm ready.
All right.
3.
In 3, 2, 1.
D.
I give him a C.
Mm.
I don't know. Like, this team stunk to bed. We got our ass kicked. We got down by 30. No one should be a B. No one should
No. Yeah.
take pride in how well they played.
Mm.
But he was probably the best player of the night.
I guess probably. He scored. And he shot well too. He shot 7 of 12. I did not expect a good game out of D'Lo shooting wise. I expected usually he has one good game and then the next game's a stinker.
Yeah, for sure.
He actually shot well tonight, and was making very typical or very like similar shots that he was last night. He was hitting threes. He was driving a bunch and getting layups, which is good to see because apparently he's the only player that does that for our team. No, I thought it was a decent game, but at the same time, like 3 assists, 3 rebounds, and just general. I mean, defensively, everybody was in shambles. I don't know. I'm just so down that I feel like everybody was a D.
Go. That's fine. Oh, you said D, not B?
Yeah.
Oh, fine. That's fine. Do it. D for D'Lo. We lost every quarter. Handedly. The third quarter, we only lost by 2, but I didn't even watch the third quarter, so there. Every quarter I watched, we got our asses kicked. I am very low right now. I know it's one game, but I had a question for you, but maybe you can fill in the answer anyways.
Yeah.
Do you know what I was going to ask you?
No.
It's only one game, but did we make a mistake not doing anything in the trade by the trade deadline?
To be continued. And the reason I say that is because we have some weird contractual stuff going on. So it seems like there is a possibility, and there is some chatter around the possibility of signing some guy in a buyout situation, but there's weird things to it. One, we don't have like luxury tax space until like March or something like that. And 2, there's some really weird clause in Taurean Prince's contract where if he hits over 40% of threes or 41% of threes, he gets like a $400,000 bonus. And right now, he's close to hitting that, I think.
Oh, so he's just going to stop shooting.
So he probably is going to stop shooting so he gets that. I don't know if he has it yet, but yeah, like that is a concern. So if it looks like Taurean can't get it by that contract date or whatever, then I think we could see something. And I've even heard like people like John Krasinski replying to people asking about Greg Monroe, which would be fun. but no, I think this is a mistake. It's a long conversation, but I do think
it's a long conversation.
I think it's a mistake because at this point I guess we're 1-1 coming out of the All-Star break, but you just had to fight for the 6th seed. I think the 7th through 10th seed is way too risky for a team like this.
For sure.
And as we've said, I think if we have a 7-game series, or maybe not 7, but like we have a best of 4 series, I think we have the ability to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps if we are down bad. I think that's possible.
Mm-hmm.
Can we do that in a 1-game play-in or a 2-game play-in situation? I don't know. 2-game, maybe, which then you absolutely have to be the 7 or 8 seed. You have to. And sure, the Lakers and Clippers are fighting each other as we speak, and that's funny because they both suck. But one of them, or maybe both of them, could get hot. And if they do, we're not probably going to be able to keep up because our strength of schedule for the remaining season is we have the 9th toughest strength of schedule remaining. And Denver, the 6th seed, has the 21st strongest. So they have a very easy schedule. So do like the Pelicans. So do the Blazers. It's a little scary. So we did need to add something to our team, I think. And the last 2 games of Nas have been a very good example of why we needed to add something. But
yeah, just like some veteran big, and probably a buyout candidate would be best. Just someone who's already off the team, and we can find someone there would be great. We need size in the worst way.
Mhm.
Another thing that I feel like we need is just a little bit more sustenance from our bench production wise. You know, it's not going to be Noel because apparently he's just out of the rotation.
Yeah.
Beasley is hot and cold every game. Um, what about like this sounds so dumb. What about like Isaiah Thomas?
Yeah. A point. I think a point guard makes a lot of sense too. We talked about that a lot before the deadline. I think that would be an interesting kind of option. I mean, he's a big fan of Jaden. He's just recently on Twitter he was talking about Jaden,
Yeah.
which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Obviously, Seattle guy. I'm down. Um,
Mhm.
and really, what can it hurt? I don't think adding any player to our roster, especially like a backup point guard or a backup center, is going to like throw such a wrench in things that we suddenly are losing like 5 games in a row. So I don't think there's really any downside to it, other than Glenn's pockets, I guess.
Right. You know, I want a big in the worst way. I don't know who's out there. I stopped caring because I guess they know way more than we do. But it just felt right that we should have had a different look. And, we have Nathan Knight out there, and he's kind of a big who likes to get to the free throw line. He tends to do so too. Why not try him out? I feel like we need some sort of shakeup to reestablish a hierarchy on our bench because minutes are earned. They're not just given, but apparently we don't have anyone of size to note to do anything with. We just give it to Nas.
Yeah.
We just give it to I don't know, man. It's weird. Watching Jaden at the 4 sucks, man. Like watching him guard Embiid on switches is not fun to watch.
Him and even Vando. I mean, Vando had to guard him a couple times a night too, and it's like, gosh, we have our toothpicks out there trying to guard like such a strong big and Embiid, but yeah. 6, welcome. Sorry you're kind of late, but the tier list was spoiler. Nobody was above a C.
Like that. And with that, we'll see you later.
I think that's pretty much it. You will not be back because you're going on a trip.
Yeah, I'm going to Vegas.
Yes, so we got to put our
a
odds
week
in
almost.
Oh, this is perfect. Now the Timberwolves finals odds are going to be tanking. So we'll have great odds so we can choose them for the title.
Yeah.
No, we won't.
Sounds great. I like that idea.
But there is a game on Monday and Tuesday back to back. One game is away. The first game is away at Cleveland, and then we come back home the next night for Golden State. So now we have to win one of those 2 games. You have to win one of those 2 games. And Cleveland seems like a winnable game right now. I love a lot of their players, but it seems more winnable. And Golden State will be a tricky one. It'll be really tricky. But, cocaine and strippers. What are we talking about?
You know everything about me. It's Wolves losses, cocaine, strippers.
Ashwin vlogs, yes. We're gonna get some built from day one.
Talk about some stat lines, some box scores.
But yeah, I'll be back for Monday and Tuesday. Tuesday I'll be at the game again. Fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know. Yeah. So
the games are at home?
One of them is. The second game is at home. The first game is away. It's really weird.
Oh, cool. There was some discussion on some podcasts about like Golden State maybe slipping because Draymond's nowhere close to being back, and Memphis kind of maybe becoming the second seed. Is that something that you could buy into or no?
I mean, maybe, but Memphis didn't look very good the other night, so I don't know. And they could. I don't know what I would want. I guess I would want probably Memphis to move up into the 2 seed just because I feel like we have a shot against them, even though I hate playing Memphis. But I don't know. I think they've got Steph. He's on right now. They've got Clay. He's back and pretty good right now. They've got Wiggins, and he's going 4 from 13 from the field for 10 points. Yeah, I think, I don't know, that could be closer. I guess it could be close. I didn't really entertain that thought until you just said it. But
yeah, because if the Memphis Grizzlies become a second seed, they're gonna have to do something pretty right. And then like they're kind of close on seeding wise, but if we're a 7th seed, the bubble team kind of doing the play and stuff, we could play Memphis as a 7th seed, and I don't necessarily mind that.
Yeah, they're a pretty weak 2 seed team.
Yeah.
So if we could be a 7 seed, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
I guess, and not that I want the players to have this mindset. I mean, obviously the Suns are great. They lost to the Pelicans tonight, though. But
They don't have Chris Paul.
they
right?
don't have Chris Paul. Yeah, so that's a big blow to them. But
Mm.
even them, their record's incredible. But like, I do think there is the possibility we could have a fight in that game. Maybe it's a 4-1 series, but like, I think there's maybe some kind of interest there. But
Yeah.
I think Golden State would very handily beat us. They're just too experienced in the playoffs, and if they're all back and healthy by then,
Yeah, there's no way the league will let us win that series.
True, that too.
Mhm.
But the other ones, it's possible. There's certainly some possibilities there. So,
Is the dream dead? Where are we? We
dreams.
are 32 and 29.
Oh, the
No,
dream.
we can still afford 3 more losses, man.
3 more. Okay, only 3 though. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, game Monday, Tuesday, and then another back-to-back Friday, Saturday. Another away home back-to-back.
Yeah,
Oh, God,
next,
that's
right.
so terrible. So yeah, well, we'll be back then. God, everybody's showing up now. Sorry, everybody. We should have gone later, I guess, tonight. But yeah, 52 wins. It's happening. But as I was saying, I appreciate you all. Thank you for tuning in. You guys are the diehards. It makes it easier for Ashton and I when you guys are all here, and it's fun to see y'all. So, even though we talk in the Discord all night, anyways, but yeah, we'll be back on. I'll be back on Monday,
Yeah.
with a post game show, and hopefully better vibes. So, 52 wins. What's the slogan?
Intro as the outro.
Yes, you got it.
And
Intro
what
is
are we
the
talking
outro.
about?
Yeah, look at and what are we talking about? Yeah, and you know what I'm gonna say? What are we talking about too? The fact that we just doubled our viewers right now when we're ending the show. So if you guys are just joining
Yo.
now, feel free to watch the VOD. It'll be up in 2 seconds. All right.
Oh Godfrey.
Intro
I
is
love
the
you,
out-
man.
Oh, Godfrey, too nice, too nice. And JBX shout out tier list, the big boy, over under, Gerald, everybody, you know.
Gerald always coming in clutch.
Yes, 52 wins. Intro is the outro. We'll see you Monday. Bye
Yeah.
bye.
Bye. I'm just gonna take off.